Before you try to change your life, you must first learn to look at it honestly, not with guilt, not with pride, just with awareness. Most people are in a hurry to move forward, but they don't pause to ask a very important question: where am I actually standing right now? Imagine trying to use a map without knowing your current location. No matter how good the map is, you will still feel lost. In the same way, self-awareness is the starting point of every meaningful transformation. Many of us live on autopilot. We wake up, scroll our phones, rush through the day, react to situations, and go to sleep without ever checking in with ourselves. We know what everyone else is doing, but we don't know what is happening inside us. Self-awareness means turning your attention inward. It means observing your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your reactions without immediately trying to change them. Because you cannot fix what you do not see. Let me say this very gently: you are not your mistakes. You are not your past failures. You are not even your current limitations. But if you keep pretending they don't exist, they will continue to control your future. Self-awareness is not about self-criticism, it is about self-honesty. There is a big difference. Self-criticism says, I am bad. Self-awareness says, this is what I need to work on. Take a moment and reflect on your daily life. How do you start your mornings? Do you wake up with intention, or do you wake up with anxiety? How do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you become angry, defensive, or silent? How do you spend your free time? Are your habits moving you closer to the person you want to become, or further away? These questions are not meant to make you uncomfortable. They are meant to make you conscious. Often, we blame external circumstances for our lack of progress. We blame our family, our job, our past, or our luck. While circumstances do influence us, they do not fully define us. Self-awareness helps you separate what is within your control from what is not. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you always control how you respond. And that response, repeated daily, becomes your destiny. Another important part of self-awareness is understanding your strengths. Many people are so focused on fixing their weaknesses that they forget to use what they are already good at. What comes naturally to you? What kind of work gives you energy instead of draining you? What do people often appreciate about you? When you recognize your strengths, you build confidence. And confidence is not arrogance, it is clarity about your abilities. At the same time, self-awareness asks you to acknowledge your patterns. Notice the cycles in your life. Where do you keep getting stuck? Do you start with excitement and quit when things become difficult? Do you avoid discomfort even when you know growth lies there? Patterns are powerful teachers. They show you where discipline is missing and where fear is holding you back. Ignoring patterns keeps you trapped. Understanding them sets you free. Silence plays a big role in developing self-awareness. In a world full of noise, silence feels uncomfortable. But silence is where clarity lives. When you sit quietly, without distractions, your mind begins to speak honestly. You start noticing what truly matters to you and what you have been avoiding. Even a few minutes a day of quiet reflection can slowly change the way you understand yourself. Self-awareness also requires compassion. When you see your flaws, don't attack yourself. Treat yourself the way you would treat someone you care about. Firm but kind. Growth does not come from hatred. It comes from understanding and responsibility. You can accept yourself as you are while still committing to becoming better. These two ideas are not opposites, they are partners. As these 6 months begin, do not rush to impress anyone. Do not compare your journey with others. Their path is theirs, yours is yours. Your only task right now is to know yourself deeply and truthfully. When you know yourself, your decisions become clearer. Your goals become meaningful. Your actions become intentional. Change does not start when your life looks perfect. It starts the moment you become aware enough to say, "This is where I am, and I am willing to grow." That willingness, rooted in self-awareness, is the first real step toward a life that is not just successful on the outside, but peaceful on the inside. Once you become aware of where you are, the next step is to decide where you want to go. And this is where many people quietly sabotage their own progress. They try to chase everything at the same time. They want better health, more money, deeper relationships, inner peace, a new skill, and a new lifestyle, all at once. The mind becomes crowded, the heart becomes confused, and eventually nothing moves forward. Clarity does not come from having many goals. Clarity comes from committing to one clear direction. Defining one clear goal for the next 6 months is not about limiting your potential. It is about protecting your focus. Focus is a form of self-respect. When you choose one meaningful goal, you are telling yourself, "This matters. This deserves my time, energy, and patience." Without a clear goal, effort becomes scattered. You stay busy, but you don't move forward. 6 months later, you feel tired but unchanged. A clear goal is not vague, saying, "I want to be successful," or "I want to improve my life." Sounds good, but it gives your mind no instruction. A meaningful goal has direction. It answers the question, in 6 months, what specific change do I want to see in my life? It could be related to your health, your career, your studies, your habits, or your inner growth. The area matters less than the sincerity behind it. When choosing this goal, honesty is more important than ambition. Don't choose a goal because it looks impressive to others. Choose it because it feels necessary to you. Sometimes the most powerful goals are not the loudest ones. Maybe you need to rebuild your self-discipline. Maybe you need to regain confidence. Maybe you need to become emotionally stronger or financially stable. Listen carefully to what your life is asking from you right now. It is also important to understand that a clear goal should stretch you, but not crush you. If your goal is unrealistic, it creates pressure and fear. If it is too easy, it creates boredom. The right goal creates healthy discomfort. It challenges you to grow while still feeling possible if you show up consistently. Growth does not come from extremes. It comes from steady effort in the right direction. Once you define this goal, write it down. Not in your phone, not in your mind, but somewhere you can see it. Writing makes a thought real. It turns an idea into a commitment. Every time you look at it, you remind yourself why you are choosing discipline over comfort. When motivation disappears, your written goal becomes your anchor. There will be days when you feel confused, tired, or distracted. On those days, a clear goal protects you from unnecessary decisions. You don't have to ask yourself what to do next. Your goal has already decided that for you. This reduces mental stress and saves energy. Decision fatigue is real, and clarity is the cure. Defining one goal also teaches you patience. In a world that celebrates instant results, committing to 6 months feels slow, but slow growth is strong growth. When you give yourself 6 months, you allow space for mistakes, learning, and adjustment. You stop expecting overnight transformation and start respecting the process. It is equally important to let go of guilt about the areas you are not focusing on right now. Choosing one goal does not mean ignoring the rest of your life forever. It simply means you understand that seasons require prioritization. Just like a gardener cannot water every plant equally every day, you cannot give equal attention to every area of your life at once. Wisdom lies in knowing what needs attention now. As you move forward, remind yourself often clarity comes before confidence. You don't need to feel ready to choose a goal. You just need to choose honestly. Confidence will grow as you take small steps in alignment with that choice. Action creates belief, not the other way around. At the end of these 6 months, the true success will not only be in achieving the goal itself, but in becoming someone who can commit, focus, and follow through. That identity shift is powerful. It stays with you long after the 6 months are over. So pause, reflect, and choose one clear goal, not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of purpose. That single decision made with sincerity can quietly change the direction of your entire life. Once the goal is clear, the mind often jumps ahead and starts imagining the final result. That imagination can be exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. When the destination feels far away, the heart becomes restless and the effort begins to feel heavy. This is why success does not come from staring at the mountain. It comes from focusing on the next step in front of you. Breaking your goal into daily actions is what turns intention into reality. A big goal without daily action remains a dream. A big goal with small, consistent actions becomes inevitable. Many people believe they need big motivation to take big steps. In truth, what they need is commitment to small steps. Small actions feel ordinary, sometimes even boring, but they are powerful because they are repeatable. And what you repeat every day quietly shapes your future. Daily actions give your goal a place to live in your routine. Without them, your goal exists only in your thoughts, not in your life. Ask yourself a simple question: what is one thing I can do today that moves me slightly closer to my goal? Not 10 things, not something dramatic, just one clear action that you can realistically complete, even on a difficult day. When actions are small, resistance reduces. The mind stops arguing. You don't feel the need to wait for the perfect mood or the perfect time. You simply begin. And beginning is often the hardest part. Once you start, momentum builds naturally. One page read leads to another. One workout leads to another. One focused hour leads to confidence. Consistency matters more than intensity. Doing something small every day is more effective than doing something big once in a while. Intensity impresses people, but consistency transforms people. Daily actions create rhythm, and rhythm creates stability. Over time, what once required effort becomes a habit, and habits no longer depend on motivation. Daily actions also teach you humility. They remind you that progress is gradual. There will be days when you don't see results. There will be days when effort feels invisible. But just like a seed growing under the soil, work is happening even when you cannot see it. Trusting this process requires patience and faith. Another important aspect of daily actions is forgiveness. Some days you will miss a step, you will feel tired, distracted, or unwell. Missing one day does not destroy progress. What destroys progress is letting one missed day turn into guilt, and guilt turn into quitting. The goal is not perfection, the goal is return. Every day offers a new opportunity to come back to your commitment. Daily actions also make success feel lighter. When you focus only on today, the pressure of the future disappears. You are no longer carrying 6 months on your shoulders. You are only carrying this moment, and this moment is manageable. This mindset reduces anxiety and increases presence. It is also important to make your daily actions specific. Vague actions lead to vague results. Saying, "I'll work on my goal today," is too general. Saying, "I'll spend 30 minutes practicing," or "I'll write 300 words," gives your mind clear instruction. Clarity removes confusion, and confusion is one of the biggest causes of procrastination. Over time, daily actions begin to shape your identity. You stop saying, "I am trying." You start saying, "This is what I do." You become someone who shows up, someone who keeps promises to themselves. That identity shift is more valuable than the achievement itself because it affects every area of your life. Daily actions also create evidence. Each completed action is proof that you are capable. On days when self-doubt appears, you can look back and see your effort. Evidence silences doubt more effectively than motivation ever could. As the days pass, you may notice that your relationship with effort changes. You stop seeing discipline as punishment and start seeing it as self-care. You realize that showing up for your goal is a way of respecting yourself. It is a quiet statement that your future matters. 6 months from now, the results you see will not be the result of one powerful moment. They will be the result of hundreds of small, almost unnoticeable choices made day after day. Success is not built in a day, it is built daily. And when you commit to daily actions, no matter how small, you turn your goal from a possibility into a certainty. Once daily actions are clear, the question becomes not whether you know what to do, but whether you will actually do it when life becomes busy, tiring, or unpredictable. This is where routine enters the picture. A simple daily routine is not meant to control your life, it is meant to protect it. It creates structure in a world that constantly pulls your attention in different directions. Without routine, even the best intentions slowly fade. Many people believe they need strong motivation every day. But motivation is emotional, and emotions change. Routine is practical. It works even on days when you don't feel inspired. When you create a routine, you remove the need to negotiate with yourself repeatedly. You don't wake up asking, "Should I do this today?" You already decided yesterday. That decision made once saves energy every day. A routine does not need to be perfect or complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more powerful it becomes. When routines are too ambitious, they create pressure. When they are simple, they create consistency. The goal is not to design an ideal day that looks impressive on paper. The goal is to design a real day that you can repeat, even when you are tired. Routine gives your actions a fixed place in time. Instead of hoping you will find time, you decide when the time is. Hope is unreliable. Scheduling is respectful. When you assign time to your priorities, you are telling yourself that your goals matter. Over time, this builds trust within yourself. You stop breaking promises to your future. A simple routine also reduces mental noise. When your day has structure, your mind feels calmer. You are not constantly reacting, you are responding. This sense of control, even if small, creates confidence. You begin to feel less scattered and more grounded. And when the mind is calm, effort feels lighter. Routine does not mean rigidity. Life will interrupt. Some days will not go as planned. That is normal. The purpose of routine is not to create stress when things go wrong, but to create stability when things go right. Even if your routine breaks for a day, it gives you something to return to. Without routine, there is nothing to return to. Another important truth is that routines shape identity. When you repeat an action daily, it becomes part of who you are. You don't have to convince yourself anymore. You simply act in alignment with your routine. This identity-based behavior is strong because it does not depend on mood. You become someone who shows up, not someone who waits to feel ready. A routine also teaches discipline in a gentle way. Discipline often sounds harsh, but in reality, it is an act of care. It means choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. When you follow a routine, you are not forcing yourself, you are guiding yourself. You are creating boundaries that protect your time, energy, and focus. It is important to be realistic when creating a routine. Look at your current life honestly. Consider your responsibilities, your energy levels, and your environment. A routine that ignores reality will not last. A routine that respects reality will grow with you. Start small. You can always add more later. Sustainability is more important than speed. Routine also reduces decision fatigue. When too many decisions pile up, the mind becomes tired and avoidance increases. A routine simplifies choices. You know what comes next. This clarity frees mental space for creativity and problem solving. You stop wasting energy on trivial decisions and start investing it in meaningful action. Over time, a routine creates rhythm, and rhythm creates momentum. Momentum makes effort feel natural. What once felt difficult becomes normal. You no longer question your discipline, you live it. This is how ordinary days quietly build extraordinary results. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about a simple routine is that it gives you stability in an unstable world. When external situations change, your routine remains a constant. It becomes an anchor, a reminder that no matter what is happening outside, you can still show up for yourself in small, meaningful ways. At the end of 6 months, the routine you build may look simple from the outside, but inside, it will have transformed you. It will have taught you consistency, self-respect, and patience. And those qualities, once developed, do not disappear. They become part of who you are, guiding you long after the 6 months are over. The way you begin your morning is not just the start of your day, it is the foundation of your mindset. Before the world asks anything from you, before messages, noise, and responsibilities rush in, there is a small window of time that quietly belongs only to you. What you do in that window shapes how you think, how you feel, and how you respond for the rest of the day. When you control your morning, you don't control life, but you do control how you meet it. Many people wake up and immediately give their attention away. The phone is checked before the mind is even fully awake. news, messages, comparisons, and demands enter the brain before clarity has a chance to form. The day begins in reaction mode. When the morning starts with chaos, the rest of the day often follows the same pattern. It is not because the person is weak. It is because the mind was never given a moment to settle. A calm, intentional morning does not require hours. It requires awareness. Even a few focused minutes can create a powerful shift. The purpose of the morning is not productivity. It is alignment. It is about deciding who you want to be today before circumstances decide for you. When you wake up with intention, you carry that intention into every interaction and decision. Mornings are powerful because the mind is most impressionable then. Thoughts planted early grow stronger as the day progresses. If you begin with gratitude, clarity, or purpose, those qualities tend to echo throughout the day. If you begin with stress or distraction, that tone often stays with you. This is why morning discipline is less about doing more and more, about choosing wisely. Control in the morning also builds self-trust. When you do what you promised yourself you would do, even something small, you send a message to your mind, I can rely on myself. That message builds confidence quietly. Confidence is not built by big achievements alone. It is built by small promises kept consistently. There will be days when mornings feel rushed or heavy. Discipline does not mean forcing perfection. It means returning to intention whenever possible. Even on difficult days, a brief pause, a deep breath, or a moment of silence can reconnect you to yourself. The goal is not an ideal morning. The goal is a mindful one. A controlled morning also reduces anxiety. When you start the day slowly and intentionally, your nervous system feels safer. You are not immediately on edge. This calm state improves focus, patience, and emotional regulation. You become less reactive and more thoughtful. Problems feel manageable instead of overwhelming. Another subtle power of the morning is that it sets the pace. When you begin calmly, you move calmly. When you begin rushed, you rush even when there is no need. Over time, this pace affects your health, relationships, and decision making. Slowing down in the morning is not laziness, it is wisdom. Morning discipline is also deeply personal. What works for one person may not work for another. The key is consistency, not comparison. You don't need someone else's routine. You need a morning that respects your values and energy. When the morning reflects who you want to become, it becomes a daily reminder of your direction. As weeks pass, you may notice that your mornings start influencing your identity. You no longer feel like someone trying to improve. You feel like someone who is improving. That shift is powerful. It changes how you speak to yourself, how you face challenges, and how you recover from setbacks. When life becomes unpredictable, your morning remains a place of stability. Even when outcomes are uncertain, the way you begin the day can be steady. This steadiness becomes emotional strength. It reminds you that while you cannot control everything, you can always control how you begin. 6 months of intentional mornings may not make headlines, but they will make a difference you can feel. They will shape your thoughts, your habits, and your resilience. And slowly, almost quietly, they will rewire the way you approach life, not with urgency, but with clarity and calm strength.